Welcome. You're tuned in to RTD Radio.
Good for you.
Hello to all y'all listeners out there.
Oh, y'all.
Yep.
That
My
means
name's Mondo.
everybody. And I'm Carlos.
We are definitely here to help enlighten and discuss certain topics that really will help try to open your mind and kind of expose you to different things that you might have not known before.
That's why it's the road to Damascus.
Exactly.
You'll have that enlightening, throw you off your horse moment.
Hopefully, yes. Yes.
Well,
that's the main idea.
Yes. So the purpose of this episode, we're calling it, what do we decide? Menu?
The menu of things to come. Yes.
The menu.
Kind of giving you a little taste, a little peek of what you can be expecting from us.
Yes. We've been brainstorming for the past hour, and we just basically said, you know what? Let's just hit record, and let's just get these ideas out there as they're going.
Yes.
And we'll structure them.
Just record raw and uncut.
Yes.
Our ideas right now are going to be straight out from our brains to our mouths to your ears.
Yeah, years of research on both ends.
Definitely, yes.
I mean, I've researched a few things. Mondo's researched a whole lot of other things.
I am definitely an armchair quarterback.
There you go.
There you go.
No,
there you go.
honestly, we do want to turn in reference material, a very structured show. But right now, these are our first episodes. We've got a plethora of things that we just urgently want to talk about. And as we were brainstorming, we were like, let's do this, let's do that. You know what? Let's hit record, tell everybody the menu of things to come. And as we produce different shows, then we'll break it down a lot calmer, a lot more organized with reference material so that you can go and look up yourself.
And be more specific, of course, yeah.
Be more specific. Have a concise idea and a thorough thought process as to how we're saying things and the conclusion. But now we just want to let you guys be like little sponges.
Yes, definitely.
And take in all of the things that we've got. Look at my hands.
Excellent. Yes, like Mr. Burns. No, and definitely we want to be able to make you guys think, but at the same time, we are going to have our opinions on certain topics, but we want you all to be able to research for yourself.
Yeah,
really.
Don't take
we're not going to think for you. Yeah,
no.
We're all on a journey. We're all together at the same time. We're all to push each other at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna,
sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens iron. I'm not going to think for you, but I am going to do my best to teach you how to think. So that's gonna
get you excited.
Yes, definitely. Definitely we are, and let's hit it from the top, Carlos. What kind of things are we gonna talk about?
Join us. Well, I would definitely like to start with the Bible.
Most controversial book ever. No,
yeah. Well, no,
the number one book of all time. It is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the most read book.
Love it or hate it, it's there.
It's there, and it's there for us. It's there to learn from. To see as a point of art, as an interpretive piece, as a metaphor, as theology, as eschatology, as we have a whole bunch of descriptors for the Bible. So we do want to get into it. We want to cover what it is and what it is not.
Exactly, yes.
That's an important thing.
That's very important. How to use it, yeah.
How to use it, exactly. Different interpretations. As in literal versus metaphoric versus interpretative.
Correct.
The different passages, the multi-layered nature of the Bible.
Yes, of course.
I honestly hadn't taken into account until I met Mondo. And there's a few stories in there that I'm sure we'll cover in that episode.
Definitely.
That will demonstrate exactly how multi-layered it is and how you can be taught, and then when you go back to it,
you learn a whole different thing.
A whole different thing from the same passage, but since now you have a whole different point of view, a more educated
or in-depth. I want to say educated, in-depth. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. A more in-depth point of view. Now you can extract more pertinent and deep meaning information from it, which to me was like, whoa.
I think when we first started discussing different Bible passages, I think I use the term it's 3D,
Yes.
as in the sense that, of course, it's just letters on a page, it's ink on a piece of paper, and we just read it as such. But like I said, it's more 3D as far as the interpretations you can get from it. Go back to like what you just said, you have your metaphorical interpretation, your literal interpretation, but you also have different emotional interpretations you can read off of it. So that one sentence or phrase or passage can have a lot of different faces, just like a 3D image.
Yes.
So I mean, I use that. Obviously there's way more than 3, but we're gonna give specific examples onto where that is, and really, I would want everybody that reads the Bible to view it like that, to not view it as words on a page or ink on a paper, to view it as a living document.
Yes.
Much in the way that we view other documents, but this would be the document.
It's an evolving document too.
Yeah, it is, and we'll get into that later, of course, as far as also on really how to read your Bible.
Yes.
Because one thing we got to realize is the Bible was not the Bible when it was written.
No.
Exactly.
It's the Bible now, but it was not.
It wasn't the Bible back then, or who the audience was, who wrote it, why they wrote it.
The context.
Exactly. There's a lot of things to consider when reading it. We can and we can't view it from our modern 2017 eyes. No. We have to view it differently.
We try.
We try to, and we don't understand it. And there's a reason why. It's like the best way I could explain it would be try to pick up a Romeo and Juliet in Old English.
Yeah.
And try to read it from our point of English. No, you actually have to learn.
Confusing.
Exactly. It's just like that. As far as you have to know, there's the time period it was written.
Yeah.
And it's just the words have different meanings. You got to educate yourself. It's like like Carlos said, it's a living book.
And vice versa.
And vice versa, yes.
There are things that were written for that time,
but for us.
But actually for us.
Yeah.
Which to me was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Just off the top of my head, you cannot describe an airplane to a person 2,000 years ago. But when you read a phrase in the Bible that perfectly describes an airplane, you can just recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's an airplane. They're talking about an airplane. And it's relevant to the story, and it's relevant to the message, and it's relevant to the point they're trying to make in each story of each book across the whole Bible.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
So that's one.
I mean, we could do 10 shows on that, but we'll do our best to kind of keep it as specific as we can, and
provide
references and provide information that you can use.
Yeah.
Later on, we can go into, of course, some of the more off topics, but really, let's get into the meat right now.
Yeah. Into the meat.
Into the meat on this first show. Yeah, exactly.
Provide some good links. Provide some good references to reading material.
Yeah.
Some
and
good
make
books.
Make you think. Yeah, some good books, some good, just like you said.
Yeah, the idea is to get you excited, enthusiastic about...
Get you talking.
The topic, about interacting with us also, which I'm going to take the opportunity to mention the comment section on our website. I think we've decided to disable comments on YouTube and on the different social media in the effort to channel all of your comments on our website, where we can interact more intimately with all of you, because the idea is that we're going to the shows further down the road are going to be specific in answering some of the questions and some of the dialogue that's going to start appearing in the comment section. We're not just, doing the show, and if you guys like it, good. If you didn't, oh well.
No. We want to hear from you. Yeah.
Yeah, we want to hear from you, and we're going to make our further shows based on that dialogue that's going to start existing.
On what you're talking about. Yeah.
So, and just in case you're wondering why we disabled comments in this YouTube, if you're even there at the moment, then that's why.
No, definitely. And of course, keep it civil. We're all adults. Well, and we can agree to disagree.
I'd like to think I am.
But at the end of the day, we're right and you're wrong. So no. I mean, I can't tell you how many times my point of view has changed, and it's just good to take other points of view in mind so that you can get a better picture.
Yeah. We're not trying to indoctrinate anybody.
I am. No,
But anyways.
no. We're trying to just educate, really, and we want to teach and also at the same time be taught.
Be taught.
There you go.
I think that's an important part.
Yeah.
Be taught, because I'm sure there's some dialogue out there between some of our listeners that's going to expand our own horizons of the themes that we think that we're exposing for everything there is. And I doubt there's everything to all of the subjects that we're going to be talking about.
Exactly. So let's move on. Let's see what other topics are we gonna touch on.
The paranormal.
The paranormal. Wow.
That's a huge.
That's a
one.
massive topic.
I mean, UFOs, black-eyed kids.
What? Black-eyed kids? What's that? Ghosts. Bigfoot.
Spirits.
Hybrids.
Seances. I want to get into that.
Seances.
I want to do a show just on my
seances?
personal experience with seances.
That is another thing I want to touch on. A lot of what we're going to talk about is from personal experience.
Oh, yes.
Definitely. I know I have my stories. Carlos has his stories.
Oh, yeah.
Some a little more intimate.
We haven't heard. We've heard a few of each other's stories,
but I don't think everything.
No, not even close.
No, I don't think
I'm
so.
sure of it.
Yeah. But I mean, we both do, like I said, have stories in this specific topic, like the paranormal. Right. I'm sure we're going to have different things to talk about. But the paranormal. Myself, I'm extremely interested in, like I say, like UFOs and black-eyed kids. Oh, that's I mean, I hate being scared, but for whatever reason, that intrigues me.
That and a whole bunch of other subjects.
For some of you that don't know what the black-eyed kids are, I would I'm not going to go into it right now, but definitely feel free to Google it. So just get your feet wet, and then we'll go into a little bit more detail, and we can go over some specific instances. Even here locally, you would be surprised where we are. We're in South Texas. Yeah. There are some stories here, and we'll go from there.
A lot of things have gone down in the valley.
Yes. And like the paranormal is a big topic, and I know Carlos said ghosts. Who doesn't have a ghost story? Who doesn't have one? If you don't have one, something is wrong with you, or you're not listening. So
a big one from the valley: demonic possession.
Would that be considered paranormal?
I think so.
You think so?
I think so.
Well, I mean, we could touch on that. The demonic possession. What it is, what it isn't. How do we define demonic possession?
There you go.
That would be a good... we can discuss that on that specific show. That's a nice one.
With something like Santeria and all of these... what are we going to call them? I'm going to call them cults.
I'm going to call them cults, yeah. Definitely. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah. It is what it is. You can't sugarcoat a cult.
Witchcraft.
Yeah. And we're not saying it as to demean anybody, of course. I mean, we kind of are, but we're not. No, it's just yeah, definitely. I mean, we're here in Texas, and of course, you got the biggest,
there's a lot of that.
The most common example, of course, I can think off the top of my head would be like the Davidians, David Koresh, there in Waco, Texas. Well, if you don't know what that is, like I said, look it up. Well, you know what? We could do a whole different show on cults, but we'll just wrap it into that paranormal. We'll go on from there.
There's a huge culture on that. I mean, literally down the street, we have what are called yerberias around here.
Herbalists.
Well, yeah, I guess you could translate it to herbalist, but a yerberia,
witch doctor,
is a place where you go and get all of your witchcraft paraphernalia. Mm-hmm. Is that a good description?
Yep.
And there's not one or two or three. There's about 5.
Quite a bit, yes.
Yes. So you got to wonder, you know, what's going on, why it's so popular. They obviously have a market.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, there's a certain demographic, of course, that goes to these kind of shops. Yeah, definitely.
It's not exclusive to the valley, but it's really predominant around here.
I would say mostly in Hispanic sections of the cities. Yeah.
Well, you know, there's some African American.
Of course, yeah, and that's where you got your Creole versions, and your voodoo kind of stuff like that.
Your voodoo people, and you know. The last time I went to New Orleans, I saw some pretty crazy stuff. Some chicken bone throwing, and
or even in Houston. This
is true.
or even in
California is pretty
California
wild,
or
too.
even North Carolina. You'd be surprised. And
Yeah.
one thing, you know what? A lot of people just even deny this kind of stuff exists.
Come on.
And we're here to kind of say, you know what, it does. If you'd like, we can take a picture of it and send it to you. If you
But you think at this moment in 2017, there's still people out there that are going to deny all these kinds of...
Yes.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh, man. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Comment.
we'll go from there.
Comment below.
Comment, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely on that. We'll wrap that into the paranormal subject. Another could be another, I don't say passion of mine. Another is like these unknown creatures.
Okay.
Things like
Yes.
Chupacabra, Bigfoot.
I'd call it paranormal. Chupacabra, You mean
Nessie, or
like-
whatever, just different creatures that are unknown. And like I said, we're not going to get specific on it, but we can give a general breakdown on it.
You got stories on
I
that.
do have actually
remember.
quite a big stories, and a good one would be lechuza, which
There
would be
you go. That was the
considered
word I was looking for.
in English that would be like no, not a banshee. It would be it's an owl. It's a witch, and we'll go into it later. I'll save an owl witch, shapeshifter, a skinwalker. We'll go into that with that specific show. We'll go into that one.
Not
But,
Moloch or ISIS right now. Those
No.
icons.
But no, on the paranormal, yeah, like so. You know what? We could go on and on with that, and I think we're gonna enjoy that show. And we're gonna do our best, of course, to not just be blurting out things, even though some of these stories you can get carried away, especially us that were witnesses to it.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to like demon possessions.
Yes.
I do have a few stories, or even some other paranormal things.
Yeah.
So we'll go.
I'm
from
anxious
there.
to hear some of those. You know.
Definitely.
Also, then we're gonna want to cover what we're calling loosely right now: science versus superstition.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically this is traditional superstitions, cultural superstitions, why they exist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's got to be something to them, or else they wouldn't exist. People don't just repeat lies.
Mm-hmm.
A lie will happen maybe a generation or two, but
not over a period of generations.
Of several generations, right? So we're gonna analyze the scientific aspect. Maybe what the Bible says about some of these things, what official scientists say about these things, what particle physics, quantum mechanics, where we're at least in the mainstream, through science publications and white papers and all these kinds of academic papers that we like to go through.
Yeah, definitely.
In our spare time while we're
There's
working.
a lot of things there's a lot of superstitions that science can't explain, for example.
Yeah.
And a lot of
and ones that it can.
A lot of things in science that don't work, but yet superstitiously do.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
It's just weird. Yeah. But that should be a very interesting show, because we could go into little cultural superstitions to large, major, like life-changing superstitions. That
would a conspiracy theory be a superstition, or would you call that fact? Or should we just throw that?
Well, you know what? We'll discuss it on the show. We'll discuss what is a superstition.
Okay. There we
Because
go.
to some people, a superstition is, let's say, like a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
To other person, it could be if you walk under a ladder, you got bad luck.
Well, yeah. That's the most obvious.
Yeah, it's the most obvious one, of course. But like we're just alluding to, there's different definitions to the word superstition. Yeah.
Yeah. There's people that think that you can give somebody water with bathe in your underwear, and that's gonna cause them to feel an attraction for you.
Yeah.
All those kinds of little things we're gonna get
and we
into.
can name a few. I have a few on the top of my head just right now thinking about it. That, like, for example,
he's got a grin. I'm looking over. He's got this grin.
Just for example, like I have no idea how it works, or I don't know how science can even prove it. But here locally, we got a lot of little taco shops, taquerias.
Yeah.
And how do they keep the flies away?
Oh, with the water?
With a bag of water.
A bag of water.
Just suspended in the air.
Yeah.
Now, how does that scientifically at all, like, keep mosquitoes away? Nobody can explain to me that. Wow. But
yeah,
it works.
I've heard ideas.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly, that's just it, though. They're ideas. But that's just, like, for one. Another one would be, like I said, here locally we have our local superstitions. Would be like the egg when somebody's sick.
Yeah. When
And
somebody's
you know
sick.
what? We'll get into that more later. We'll get into that a little bit later, but or even just barrida. I mean, there's a lot of different superstitions here locally. Of course, we're going to be more inclined to more Hispanic traditions or superstitions, but we do have other superstitions that I've been exposed to from different cultures.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. And of course, the science behind it. And a good thing we can throw into there, as far as dealing with science, we could do even touch on certain subjects like CERN or or some major, like a superstition.
That was a big one.
Yeah, it's a massive one.
I wasn't going to mention it here, but
you know, we'll just mention it. Like, I would encourage people to, you know what, Google it.
Yes,
yeah, because a superstition back then was like doorways to, like, you could travel far away, or like different portals or whatever. And then, you know what, those superstitions, we know now that maybe they weren't just legend.
Yeah,
there's science behind them. There's science behind it. And you know what, like I said, I'll just mention that, and we'll go a little bit more in depth.
Yeah.
And that show.
Yeah, let's not keep going into that, because I want to jump in with all these
and Carlos
ideas. I was going to start name dropping and this and that, but no.
Ugly.
Let's keep that.
Let's go from there.
At bay. So then, what did we also say? Political concepts.
Political concepts.
What is a political concept? The different ones that are out there. Talk about the different social structures. You know, communism, democracy, socialism.
I really want to define these terms, because people just throw these terms out, and they really don't know what it means. Like, not too many people realize that there is a difference between a republic and a democracy.
Yes.
Now, we just kind of throw it out there, oh, we live in a democracy, but do you even really know what that means? So I've heard that thrown a lot. Or even, I gave Carlos the example, now in this kind of culture of protesting everything, I tend to hear the word fascist thrown around quite often. Misused. When somebody, it's misused completely. Not that I'm agreeing with it. I'm just saying it's just a lot of these people don't even know what they're saying. And I would want to use our show as a way to kind of, you know what, let's define them. You know what? Try to understand what is actually coming out of your mouth sometimes. So when somebody calls somebody a fascist, you're not just calling them Hitler. And a political ideology isn't a person. Yeah. It's an actual way of thinking.
Some people think so, though.
Some people think so. Of course, when you say communism, what's the first thing you think of? Stalin, Russia, or whatever. Yeah. But what does it actually mean? You're thinking of a man, but it's an actual system of government. Yeah. That, you know what, people have like it, hate it, but there's actually people that have died defending it. This is true. You know what? So we might not like it, but you know what? There has literally been millions of people defending that political ideology for us to just be throwing it around is just very ignorant, and I think. And another one, of course, irresponsible. It's irresponsible. So we could go into, you know what? There's an actual spectrum of political ideologies going all the way from anarchy to communism to socialism to democracy to republic to fascism to a monarchy in itself. I mean, there's so many different forms of government, but let's just go over some of the main ones, and we can give even modern day examples. Yes. So even for like socialism, that's another word that gets thrown around. Yes. People really don't even understand what a socialist government even means, but yet you got people here in the U.S. that would want to convert our government to a socialist government. Yeah. But yet you ask them, what does that mean? They don't know.
Utopian socialism.
Exactly. And then we could even touch on that. Bernie. What exactly is a utopia? Of course, Bernie is the self-professed socialist, but we can touch on that. Yeah.
Says the American imperialist.
I am extremely pro-America, and I am unapologetically Republic pusher.
There you Gems go. Of truth.
There
Gems of truth.
Hey, you know what? You don't agree with me? You know what? That's fine. That's why we live in a democracy.
Go home. You don't agree with me?
You don't agree with me? Go to North Korea. Yeah. No, but you know what? We could also give examples, even like I said, modern day examples of, or even like a dictatorship. Yeah. See, there's a lot of different forms of government that we can go over, and this is not meant to be your college government 101 class. I really want to
No.
give examples. And I'm not going to try to, like Carlos said, indoctrinate you. I just
No.
want to state the facts and give you examples now that you can literally go see. So when we speak of communist, I can literally reference, let's say, China.
Yes.
Or North Korea. Or there's only 5 communist countries left on Earth. Cuba, North Korea, Vietnam, Laos, and China.
Of the popular ones.
Of course.
But
you see what I'm saying? We can actually give specific examples on what to reference. And we can go from there. And but I just think it's important, of course, like I said, to really educate yourselves, to know exactly what you're saying, to know what you support, and and to know what you fight against. Because for all you know, somebody could be out there throwing the word socialist out and as a negative, but in the heart of hearts, they actually themselves are a socialist.
Yes.
So you'd be surprised. I've met people like that.
Or just the word government.
What does that even mean?
Yes. Just today, we got into a little discussion. Yes, about government. Mando saying that the reign of Christ is like a government. I had my own opinion about that. We won't get into it right now, but that's just a teaser of how Mando and I dialogue. We kind of lock horns a little bit. And we want to take this dialogue that we have to your table, interact with you, sharpen ourselves with the ideas that all of you have, and expand our definitions, maybe even rewrite some of our own definitions based on this interaction that we're hoping to have with all of y'all. Which leads us to, I guess, what we're calling the big picture.
The big picture. What is the meaning behind anything? Why wake up in the morning? Or why are things the way they are?
Yeah.
And what drove them to there?
Which, in our minds, all of these things that we've been alluding to actually make up the big picture.
Yes. And we'll go into that. We're going to have an attempt to go into that later on in our...
I think it's going to be more than an attempt.
It'll be all right.
I think it's going to be good.
It'll be all right.
So pretty much in a nutshell, that's Road to Damascus Radio. First couple of episodes. I do hope you join us. And we do not have links to the website up just yet. We definitely will by the time of the recording of the first episode. So that's all on me.
No, it's fine. It's good. Yeah, and this is definitely a work in progress. I like to use the slogan for Lowe's, never stop improving. So
there you go.
Just go from there. We'll take it from there. And I would definitely encourage, we need feedback. I want to hear from you all. I want to hear what y'all are thinking, what you liked, what you didn't like.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there, definitely.
By the time you hear this, there will be a comment section ready for your input. So do stay tuned. Road to Damascus Radio.
I hope you like our theme music. There you go.
Alrighty, y'all. All right. Well, have a good evening, a good night. God bless you.
There you go. We'll talk to you later. Welcome.